Cleveland, Ohio. DeShone Kizer sat at his locker for more than 10 minutes after Sunday's 27-21 overtime loss to the Packers, with his head in his hands, looking more dejected than after any of the other 12 losses this season. Across the locker room, his new GM John Dorsey sat in front of a locker, taking in the post-game scene and undoubtedly noticing that his rookie quarterback was distraught after throwing an interception on his drive in overtime that resulted in the Packers' game-winning touchdown pass. After Kizer showered and before heading into his post-game press conference, Dorsey walked down and sat next to him at his locker and offered some words of encouragement. They talked for about 2 minutes, with Dorsey at one point clutching Kizer's hand, to be reassured that the guys in the locker room with you have your back is always a good thing, said Kizer. As for Dorsey's message, he said, "We'll keep that between us." Quote, although Kizer said such conversations occur with members of the front office all the time, this one was different. Dorsey played linebacker for the Packers back in the day, and his words packed more of a punch. It's obviously a unique situation to have a guy who's been in this position to come and have a conversation with you from a general manager position, he said. Kizer headed into this game like all of the others, first to win and second to show that he can be the man. He was making some headway in both regards until that fateful pick, which came courtesy of Clay Matthews' three, hitting his right forearm and forcing the pop-up as he scrambled around trying to throw a game-winning TD pass. "Every time I step out onto the field, it's about doing whatever I can to prove to my teammates and to this organization who I am as a quarterback and as a competitor," said Kizer. "I look forward to being in Cleveland for a long time, and I look forward to winning for a long time. Every rep that I get, it's about making sure everyone knows exactly who I am." Quote, related, how Hugh Jackson and John Dorsey can make this work. What Dorsey saw in the first 3 quarters of the game had to have him thinking that the Browns might be onto something with Kizer. He threw 3 TD passes in that span to tie the Browns' rookie record and become the first rookie to do so since Tim Couch in 1999. He fired a 38-yard strike down the deep left side to Josh Gordon, and then placed the ball where only Gordon could get it in the end zone for a leaping, stretching 18-yard TD catch to tie the game at 7. He saw Kizer take a third down sack with check down Isaiah Crowell waving he was open, but he came back on the next drive and threw a nifty 7-yard shovel pass to Duke Johnson for a TD. After a play fake to make it 14-7. On that drive, he threw pinpoint passes of 20 and 18 yards to Corey Coleman and 13 to Gordon on a slant. At the end of the half, he threw the first of his 2 picks but came back in the third quarter and threaded a 2-yard TD pass to Coleman in the end zone between 2 defenders to make it 21-7 with 2:49 left. But the costly pick in OT will go on the side of the ledger, telling Dorsey and coach Hugh Jackson that they'll have no choice but to draft a quarterback with their top pick, which will likely be No. 1 overall. It's too good a QB class, and Kizer is still too much of an unknown for the Browns to pass on this rich and deep class. Jackson even acknowledged last week that "we can't have too many good quarterbacks on this team." Single quote. Dorsey likely already reached that conclusion. He has worked with Hall of Famer Brett Favre, future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, who is roaming the sidelines on Sunday in anticipation of his return from a broken clavicle next week, and the Chiefs' Alex Smith. There's no way the Browns can afford to pass on another Carson Wentz or Deshaun Watson, not with guys like Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson at their disposal. That's not to say that Kizer can't develop into a franchise quarterback, but the Browns don't have the luxury of time. In addition to drafting a QB, they'll also likely add a veteran who can win while the youngsters learn. Jackson, who's watched Kizer turn the ball over at an alarming rate this season, had a tough time praising his early success with visions of that ill-advised overtime throw fresh in his mind. At the end of 3, with the Browns up 21-7, Kizer had completed 17 of 22 attempts for 191 yards, with 3 TDs and 1 pick for a 123.3 rating, but with a chance to score the game-winning TD on the opening drive of OT. Kizer blew it on 3rd and 2 from the 33. He started right, reversed field and initially looked for Gordon, who was tightly covered. Then, he tried to heave the ball to Rashard Higgins near midfield with his feet not set, but Matthews stormed in and whacked his right arm. The ball spurted into the air, where safety Josh Jones came down with it. Kizer's hands flew to his helmet in despair. The Packers started at the Browns' 42, and Brett Hundley threw the game-winning 25-yard TD pass to Devontae Adams 6 plays later. "You can't make that throw," Jackson said. "You always have to be team protecting unless it's obviously there, because let's go see if we can play defense and give ourselves another chance." I think he was shocked that Matthews could get to him from where he was. "If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right." Quote, Kizer, 20 of 28, 214 yards, 3 TDs, 2 picks, season-high 99.4 rating, is confident he would have hit Higgins for the game winner if Matthews, whose dad Clay, the 16-year Browns linebacker, was here, hadn't hit his arm. "Yeah, I think that you strike up the band there and enjoy our first win of this year," he said. The end of the game has been a problem for Kizer all season, which is another reason Jackson and Dorsey will decide on a college prospect. Heading in, Kizer was last in the league in fourth quarter passing with a 51.6 rating, with 2 TDs and 6 interceptions. Overall, he has a league-high 17 picks and 5 lost fumbles. His accuracy improved this game, with a season-high 71% completion percentage, but the picks overshadowed it. "That's improvement, but it's not enough," said Jackson. "I'm happy to watch the progression. Now, he has to do the other part and go find a way to help this team win. There's more there. There's more there in DeShone." Single quote. Dorsey made it clear during his introductory press conference what he's looking for in a QB, which Jimmy Haslam told him is his No. 1 priority. "Got to win. No. 1. He said, "Feet are important in today's football. Accuracy is very important. Do they have the mindset of the head coach? Do guys naturally gravitate to him? What does he do in adverse situations? Can he extend the play? Can he drive it and win it at the end of the game?" Single quote. Kizer failed to check off the most important of those boxes on Sunday, which is all the more reason Jackson and Dorsey will keep digging in on the 2018 class.